for the rest of her life, Adam. Her phone, she's always going to be questioning, are they listening to me? Are they watching my family? If I'm flying, who is that person? Are they checking me? Like, do you understand what type of disrespect? And again.
So you may have thought that the Biden-Harris harassment of political dissent may have died down a little bit this year, but you would be wrong, because breaking news as of this week, Tulsi Gabbard has apparently been added to a TSA watch list that is typically designated for potential or suspected terrorists. That's right. This is a woman who enlisted in the military and wanted to serve after 9/11, but simply because she disagrees with the Biden administration and the military-industrial complex, they have her as part of the surveillance state, and she is essentially one tier below the no-fly list. This is absolutely insane. And let me ask the question, does anyone really believe that Tulsi Gabbard is going to hijack a plane or commit some type of terrorist act? No, of course not. This is pure harassment of political opponents, and we've seen them doing this for years. They call us terrorists, they call us insurrectionists, they call us criminals, but the fact that this, a potential at one point maybe VP pick for Donald Trump, is now being treated like a terrorist should tell you everything you need to know. And recently, PBD on his podcast broke this story with some of the details, so let's take a listen to that. Folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. All right, let's get into it.
Whistleblower Tulsi Gabbard named on TSA Quiet Skies watch list. Let me read this, and then Vinny, I'm coming to you. So, former Congresswoman Tulsi has reportedly been named on the Transportation Security Administration Quiet Skies watch list. Whistleblowers within the Federal Air Marshal Service are claiming subjecting her to the same surveillance used against suspected terrorists. Gabbard, a lieutenant in the U.S. Army Reserve and a fierce critic of Biden administration, has unknowingly had 2 explosive detection K9 teams, 1 transportation security specialist explosives, 1 plainclothes TSA supervisor, and 3 federal air marshals on every flight she boarded since being added to the list. The whistleblower reports first shared with Sonia Labasco, the executive director of Air Marshal National Security Council, determined that Gabbard was added to the Quiet Skies list on July 23rd, 2024, one day after she criticized Biden, Kamala Harris, and overall security state during an interview with Laura Ingraham. Vinny.
Okay.
First of all, that's absolutely insane, okay? So you have look at the border in this country, right? You probably have a lot of potential terrorists who are in America right now, and if anyone needs to be surveilled, Fourth Amendment, whatever, but, if anyone does need to be surveilled, it's probably them, and yet you have federal marshals and K9 teams secretly following around Tulsi Gabbard whenever she's on a plane or taking an airport. For what exactly? For what purpose? Like, do people really think she's going to do something? I highly doubt it. It is pure harassment. But on top of that, forget Tulsi, forget the political difference for a second. Straight up, it is a waste of resources. This is what the Biden administration is doing when they should be, deporting all the people who have illegally entered our country and probably keeping an eye on the seriously and actually dangerous individuals who may have entered our country since January of 2021. They're wasting all this to go after Tulsi Gabbard, and for what? Because she calls out wars? Because she's a Fox News contributor who disagrees with Biden? It's absolutely insane.
So, first and foremost, I want people to understand what you just said, Pat. That means once she's put on this Quiet Skies list, every time she goes on a flight, there has to be let me find where you said it, PBD. She has to have 3 federal air marshals on every flight that she goes on. Okay? Even terrorists don't get this type of attention. There has to be like 7 people involved with her. And you want to show what she actually said so I can get into it, Robbie? Can you show? She was on the angle, and this is, guys.
Okay, let's take a listen.
If you criticize the military industrial complex and Kamala Harris, and you say Kamala Harris is dangerous to our democracy, this is the Department of Homeland Security is going to tap you for the rest of your life. Rob, play this clip. Let them see it.
I'm more interested, Laura, in what the American people are thinking. I've been seeing headline after headline saying, well, what is Kamala Harris's foreign policy going to be? And then you are reminded by these examples of how inexperienced and lacking of knowledge and strength that she is. So to answer that question, what kind of commander-in-chief will she be? What kind of foreign policy will she have? We simply need to look at the facts of what we've seen under the Biden-Harris administration. They are not running our foreign policy. Our foreign policy decisions are being made by unelected people in the military-industrial complex who are profiting from us being in a constant state of war, and the national security state that has more power to undermine our freedoms and liberties when we are in a state of war. Kamala Harris does not have the strength to stand up to the military-industrial complex.
Okay, you can stop it, Rob.
So she's
Guys, I hope you guys.
What did she say that was so controversial, so crazy? I mean, I understand how maybe it was offensive to the people in power, but don't we all call out the military-industrial complex? Like, even a lot of liberals sort of hypocritically because Biden, whatever, but even they do it. Okay, so she criticized Kamala Harris, said she was weak, said her foreign policy would be bad, and said that she would cave to the military-industrial complex. Really crazy, like outlandish takes here, right? I mean, they're so insane. It's the most benign thing ever, I think you could possibly say. Guess what? She's now being harassed by federal marshals. I don't know how long, maybe the rest of her life. And I know we say this all the time, but truly, if this can happen to Tulsi Gabbard, it can happen to anyone. Because Tulsi is not even like an elected official. Okay, yeah, she goes on Fox News. She has a popular following on the internet. But when you really break it down in the grand scheme of things, she's not nearly as important, I guess you can say, quote unquote, as like Donald Trump or even some of the other figures on the internet. But this is the treatment that a former veteran of this country gets for criticizing the military-industrial complex or something. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
You guys are paying that's all she said. It goes on for a little bit more, Tom. Nothing more, nothing less than what she just said. The Department of Homeland Security put her on a domestic terrorist watch list. And for the people out there that don't know a little bit about Tulsi Gabbard, she's an active duty lieutenant colonel, Pat, in the United States Army. She was deployed in Iraq during the war, 2004. She was assigned to a field medical unit in a combat zone. Guys, not just hanging out and nothing's going on, in a combat zone, and received a combat medal badge for service under enemy fire. Okay, she was basically there trying to help us fight terrorists, and she comes here and she criticizes them, and she's on the terror watch list. And you want to talk about weaponized legal system, Top? The same thing that's happening with her is exactly what they've been doing to Donald Trump. Am I right?
Yeah, you're taking parts of the U.S. government and throwing at your opponent.
Yeah, there's absolutely no difference.
When did they add her to the list?
The moment that this happened, I guess August.
The date? July. No.
So the
Says she
whistleblower
was added to the list July 23rd, 2024.
So
this just happened.
Adam,
July 23rd.
Yes.
Was.
And I think maybe on some levels, this whole situation proves her right, does it not? Because she says, oh, the military-industrial complex is in charge of our foreign policy. Our leaders are compromised, all this stuff. And then what happens as a result? She's put on a terrorist watch list. And Vinny's absolutely right there. Literally fought terrorists, served this country. I guess apparently is still actively serving this country. And that's how you get treated. That's how you get treated for your military service. Meanwhile, you have the VP, Tim Walz, who, we're not going to go there, but there's some missing gaps in his story there. But regardless, it's wild, folks. It's completely insane. And by the way, this is the America that Kamala Harris wants to bring to everyone in this country. Because clearly, if you can get put on terrorist watch list for that, you can literally be put on terrorist watch list for anything. Okay, this is no longer the slippery slope of like, oh, the really far right or extreme person got put on the list and now what can happen next? No, it's Tulsi Gabbard we're talking about. The thing she said is nowhere close to really extreme or radical, okay? She criticized the Democrats and the military-industrial complex. Wow, so edgy, am I right? I thought everyone believed that. Well, apparently this is what happened.
Kamala already the presumptive nominee at that point? I think so.
I'm pretty sure,
right?
Yeah.
Can I give you my little 2 cents
Yeah,
real quick?
and I'm almost done. But think of this, Adam. Just on a security level, and I know, Tom, we talked about it on the unusuals, where, it's not going to be there forever. But do you understand the mental screw that it does to her? Because for the rest, by the way, I don't know if she's suing Rob. Can you check if she's suing she's suing them for doing this? For the rest of her life, Adam, her phone, she's always going to be questioning, are they listening to me? Are they watching my family? If I'm flying, who is that person? Are they checking me? Do you understand what type of disrespect? And again, Alejandro Mayorkas and the Department of Homeland Security, there's enough shit. We have terrorists Actual terrorists
Right.
walking over our border. Remember, they don't know the number. We caught 150, but God knows how many are here. We had that one guy, Tom, that came over, remember, and he was like this, soon you will know who my name is. These are actual terrorists, and you take an active duty lieutenant colonel and put her on this list. Shame on all of you, every single one of you, and the people that let them put her on this list, shame on you. They should freaking resign. One whistleblower came out. Where are the rest of you? Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're trying to do with this, because we know the truth, right? Tulsi Gabbard's not a terrorist. She's not involved in some type of plot against America or something, but hopefully by putting her on this, either A, they can try to find some dirt on her or something, but more likely, what is the point? It is to intimidate her. And that, I believe, was sort of a similar agenda with all the lawsuits and criminal cases they tried to launch against Donald Trump when he announced that he was running for president, right? Which is, first of all, try to intimidate him, try to push him out, say, this is what you get if you stand up to the system, keep him in line, perhaps. But that didn't work because he did not drop out of the 2024 race. So beyond that, what you can also do is you can drain someone's time, effort, and resources, right? Donald Trump at times not able to be on the campaign trail because he was stuck in court. And on top of that, the numerous legal expenses because they just kept throwing stuff at him, obviously cost him a lot of money that he could otherwise be using to campaign. I think it's a similar story here with Tulsi Gabbard, which is in some ways, maybe they're baiting her, right? She's going to try to sue over this. She might win, she might lose, she'll probably win, but who knows? Who knows, right? But the legal expenses will do what? They will cost her money. The lawsuits themselves will cost her time. It's election year. They don't want her to be out there speaking to podcasters, to interviewers, to media, whatever. And that way you can take someone who is frankly an extremely effective mouthpiece against Donald Trump off of the playing board, right? Off of the chessboard. Don't have to deal with her as much. Haha, we really screwed her over. This is not the way that America obviously is supposed to work. But that, of course, is the America that Kamala Harris wants to bring to everyone. Okay, so let it be said that the Harris-Biden administration is responsible for this, and that is exactly what they want to do. And I'm sure, who knows, maybe now that the whistleblower put it out there, they're going to say it was a mistake or something. I don't know. It certainly was not a mistake. They support this stuff as much as they talk about a free, fair, and open democracy. They want to use every legal trick in the book against their political opponents. That should terrify you. That should be just another reminder of the stakes that we are up against in this election. That said, folks, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.